Alabama is situated in the southeast of the USA on the Gulf of Mexico. The capital is Montgomery. Alabama is a southern state. It was one of the Confederate states that fought in the Civil War. Alaska is situated in the upper northwest of North America. The capital is Juneau. Alaska shares a border only with Canada. Alaska is known as the last frontier. It is the largest state in the Union by area and also the least densely populated. Statistically speaking, there's only 1/2 of an inhabitant per square kilometer. Arizona is in the southwest of the USA, sharing a border with Mexico. The capital is Phoenix. The Colorado River that carved out the Grand Canyon runs through Arizona, giving Arizona the byname of the Grand Canyon State. Arkansas is located in the southeast of the USA. The capital is Little Rock. Arkansas is one of the southern states that withdrew from the Union and joined the Confederate States during the Civil War. California, known as the Golden State, is located on the west coast of the continental USA facing the Pacific Ocean. The capital is Sacramento. California is the third largest U.S. state by area, nearly as big as a country like Sweden. It has about 40 million residents and is the most populous U.S. state. Most Californians live in the metropolitan areas of Los Angeles and San Francisco. Colorado is one of the states in the west of the United States. The capital is Denver, situated where the flat prairie grasslands rise up to the steep peaks of the Rocky Mountains. Colorado's byname is Centennial State because it joined the Union exactly 100 years after the Declaration of Independence. Connecticut is a state in the northeast of the United States. The capital is Hartford. Connecticut is the third smallest state by area and is part of New England. It was one of the original 13 colonies that fought against British rule in the American Revolution. Delaware is one of the mid-Atlantic states on the east coast of the USA. The capital is Dover. Delaware is the second smallest state in the USA and has fewer than 1 million inhabitants. Delaware was one of the original 13 colonies that fought against British rule and was the first state to ratify the Constitution. It proudly calls itself the first state. Florida is a long peninsula in the southeast of the USA, with the Gulf of Mexico on one side and facing the Atlantic Ocean on the other. The capital is Tallahassee. The Sunshine State, as it's often called, is a favorite holiday destination for vacationers from around the world. Georgia is a state in the southeast of the USA. It is one of the southern states. The capital is Atlanta. Georgia was one of the original 13 colonies that fought against British rule, and it was the fourth state to ratify the Constitution. Hawaii is located in the Pacific at a great distance from the North American continent. It's the only state composed entirely of islands. The capital is Honolulu, on the island of Oahu. Tourism is an important part of the Hawaiian economy. The pleasant tropical climate makes the islands an all-year-round holiday destination. Idaho is a state in the northwest of the United States. The capital is Boise. With fewer than 2 million inhabitants, Idaho is one of the least densely populated states. Idaho's farmers grow a large number of different crops, but the state is best known for its potatoes. Actually, around 1/3 of all the potatoes grown in the U.S. come from Idaho. Illinois is one of the Midwestern states bordering on Lake Michigan in the north. The capital is Springfield, but the largest city and the economic center of the entire region is Chicago. After New York and Los Angeles, Chicago is the third largest metropolis in the United States. Indiana is a state in the middle of the United States, bordering in the north on Lake Michigan. The capital is Indianapolis. Indiana's economic strength is farming. Its major crop, by far, is corn. Indiana is part of the so-called Corn Belt. Iowa is a Midwestern state of the USA. The capital is Des Moines. Iowa is also part of the Corn Belt, a region famous for its many agricultural products, but mostly for corn. Kansas is one of the Midwestern states. The capital is Topeka. Kansas sits right in the middle of the continental USA, at an equal distance to the Atlantic Ocean in the east and the Pacific Ocean in the west. Kentucky is located in the southeast of the U.S. The capital is Frankfort. Kentucky is a state of the Inner Plains, west of the mountain ranges that divide the coastal plain along the east coast from the middle of the continent. From March to April, the blue grass that gives the state its name is in bloom. Kentucky is known as the Bluegrass State. Louisiana is a state in the south of the USA facing the Gulf of Mexico. The capital is Baton Rouge. Louisiana was a French colony named in honor of King Louis XIV. Some residents still claim French as their mother tongue. The Mississippi River forms an enormous delta, where the Mississippi empties its waters into the Gulf of Mexico, creating vast areas of coastal marsh called bayous. Maine is the northernmost state along the Atlantic coast. The capital is Augusta. Maine, known as the Pine Tree State, is part of New England. For a long time, French and English settlers fought over the possession of this territory. Maryland is situated on the Atlantic coast. The capital is Annapolis. Maryland was one of the original 13 colonies that fought against British rule in the American Revolution and is considered to be the birthplace of religious freedom in America. Maryland is one of the smallest states, comparable in overall area with Belgium, as well as being one of the most densely populated states, with around 6 million residents, statistically 200 inhabitants per square kilometer. Massachusetts is situated on the Atlantic coast. Massachusetts is part of New England. The capital is Boston. Boston was founded by Puritans coming from Britain to the New World. Massachusetts was one of the original 13 colonies that fought against British rule in the American Revolution. Michigan is one of the Midwestern states. The capital is Lansing. The largest city is Detroit, well known as the world's automotive center. Because of its proximity to the Great Lakes, Michigan has the longest freshwater coastline of all U.S. states and is known as the Great Lakes State. Minnesota is part of the Upper Midwest, bordering on Canada. The capital is St. Paul. The twin cities of St. Paul and Minneapolis together form one of the most densely populated metropolitan areas of the USA. Mississippi takes its name from the Mississippi River, a word meaning big river. The capital is Jackson. Mississippi is a state that is considered to be in the deep South. The average median income is one of the lowest of all the U.S. states. Missouri is one of the Midwestern states of the USA. The capital is Jefferson City. Missouri was called the Gateway to the West because for the settlers heading into the new territories, it was their last stop before starting their dangerous journey west. Montana is a state in the northwest of the USA. The capital is Helena. Montana is one of the mountain states situated in the Rocky Mountains. Because of its rich mineral deposits of oil, coal, copper, silver, and gold, Montana is also known as the Treasure State. Nebraska is a Midwestern state situated in the Great Plains. The capital is Lincoln. Nebraska is an agricultural state with large ranches and farms. It is part of the Corn Belt, and its byname is the Cornhusker State. Nevada is situated in the northwest of the U.S. and is named for the Spanish word for snow, nieve. The capital is Carson City. Nevada is rich in silver and gold deposits and goes by the name Silver State. New Hampshire is one of the New England states on the east coast of the USA. The capital is Concord. New Hampshire was also one of the original 13 colonies that fought against British rule in the American Revolution. New Jersey is a state on the East Coast. New Jersey is not part of New England, but it was one of the original 13 colonies that fought against British rule. It is the fourth smallest of all the states, but at the same time one of the most densely populated. The capital is Trenton. The metropolitan area on the west bank of the Hudson River, right across from New York City, is home to a large industrial base and makes New Jersey one of the wealthiest states in the USA. New Mexico is situated in the southwest of the United States. The capital is Santa Fe. New Mexico is what the Spanish settlers named the lands to the west and north of the Rio Grande. By area, New Mexico is the fifth largest of the U.S. states, but with only about 2 million residents, statistically only 6 per square kilometer, you can say New Mexico is very sparsely populated. New York is one of the mid-Atlantic states on the East Coast. The state of New York is not to be confused with the city of New York. The capital of the state of New York is Albany, but its largest city by far is the metropolis New York City. North Carolina is one of the mid-Atlantic states on the East Coast, bordering on the Atlantic Ocean. It was one of the original 13 colonies that fought against British rule in the American Revolution. The capital is Raleigh. North Carolina is historically and culturally part of the South. North Dakota is a state in the north of the continental USA. It shares a border with Canada. The capital is Bismarck. With a population of only 750,000, North Dakota is also a state that is very thinly populated. The growing oil and gas industry has recently resulted in an economic upswing and has drawn workers to move here temporarily. Ohio is one of the Midwestern states. In the north, it borders on Lake Erie, which separates Ohio from Canada. The capital is Columbus. Ohio is part of the Corn Belt. Agriculture is important in this state, but Ohio is also widely known for its manufacturing industries, producing fabricated metals, rubber, electrical equipment, appliances, and food products. Oklahoma is located in the south-central United States. The capital is Oklahoma City. Oklahoma was an Indian territory, but in 1889, 2 million acres of Indian land were opened up, causing the Oklahoma Land Run, during which large numbers of settlers rushed into the territory to claim land. After the Texas oil boom, the oil industry focused on Oklahoma. Especially the city of Tulsa profited, and was briefly known as the world capital of oil. Oregon is located in the Pacific west of the U.S., with a long coastline along the Pacific Ocean. The capital is Salem, but the largest city is Portland. Oregon is one of the most fertile agricultural regions of the world, with extensive fruit orchards. And it's also the headquarters of the famous sportswear company Nike. Pennsylvania was one of the original 13 colonies that fought against British rule. It was founded by the Quaker William Penn on the east coast of the USA. The capital is Harrisburg. William Penn traveled through Europe advertising his Quaker colony in the New World. The Holy Experiment, as he called it, was the only Quaker state ever in existence. Religious freedom was one of its core principles. Rhode Island is located on the east coast of the United States. The capital is Providence. Rhode Island is one of the New England states, and it is the smallest of all 50 states. It really is tiny, only about as large as Luxembourg. South Carolina is a small state on the Atlantic coast of the USA. The capital is Columbia. Historically, it's an important state. It was one of the original 13 colonies and the first colony to declare its independence from Great Britain. With its secession from the Union, South Carolina started the Confederation that was followed by the American Civil War. South Dakota is a state located in the Midwestern region of the United States. It is named after the Lakota and Dakota Sioux Native American tribes. The capital is Pierre, but Sioux Falls, with a population of only about 171,000 residents, is South Dakota's largest city. Tennessee is one of the states in the south of the USA. The capital is Nashville, famous as the heart of country music. Texas is a state in the south of the U.S. on the Gulf of Mexico, sharing a border with Mexico. The capital is Austin. Texas is known for its large cattle ranches and its productive oil fields. It carries the name of Lone Star State because its flag shows one lone star. Utah is a state in the western USA. The capital is Salt Lake City. Utah is known for its diversity and great natural beauty, ranging from arid deserts with sand dunes to pine forests in deep mountain valleys. Utah has the second fastest growing population of any state. A recent survey found Utah to be, overall, the best state to live in. Vermont is one of the New England states on the eastern coast of the USA. The capital is Montpelier. Sometimes called the Green Mountain State, it is best known for its forests and its maple syrup. Virginia is a state in the southeast of the USA. The capital is Richmond. It was one of the original 13 colonies that fought against British rule in the American Revolution. Virginia has many varied landscapes, reaching from the coastal areas along Chesapeake Bay to the heights of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Washington is a state in the Pacific Northwest. The capital is Olympia. But more than half of Washington's 7 million residents live in the Seattle metropolitan area, the center of transportation, business, and industry. Washington State is not to be confused with the city of Washington, D.C. Both are named after George Washington, the first president of the USA. West Virginia is noted for the Appalachian Mountains that gave West Virginia its byname of Mountain State. The capital is Charleston. Its once significant logging and coal mining industries have suffered a downturn. West Virginia is now one of the states with the lowest household income. Wisconsin is located in the center of the continental U.S., bordering on the Great Lakes, in an area known as the Midwest. The capital is Madison. Wisconsin is America's dairy land, especially famous for its cheese. Wyoming is a state in the west of the continental USA. The capital is Cheyenne. Wyoming stretches from the Great Plains to the Rocky Mountains. With only a little more than 500,000 residents, Wyoming has the least number of inhabitants of any of the 50 states.